guys, and in today's video we are going to be tier ranking all of the books that I read in 2024. Well, not all of them. There are going to be some missing because I read about 89. I read about 89 books last year. There are going to be a few missing because some of them were rereads, and then some of them were rereads, some of them were a part of the same series. I don't think I put all of them on here. And then I couldn't figure out which ones were actually missing, so there's a few. There's 80 here, but I read 89. So let's just get into it. For some reason, I couldn't figure out how to get the ads off of my screen, so sorry about that. Yeah, so you might see a few ads in here. You're not going to be able to see all of the books, but you will be able to see where I place them, and then you'll have to just deal with the top of the ads. I'm sorry, I can't get that out. Okay, so my list is locked in. Locked in is up anything I consider above a 5-star. Next is Loved. Loved I would consider a 5-star read for me. Then I have Would Recommend. These are books that are about a 4-star, anywhere from a 4 to 3-star. Took a L is books that I was looking forward to, but they just didn't do it for me. Like, there was something that was missing that I just couldn't get with. And Don't Care to Remember are books that I don't remember, or books, hold on. Okay, books that I don't remember, or books that I honestly just didn't like. Oh yeah, because I didn't put any of the books in here that I DNF'd either, so there's that. Okay, we're gonna start with Girl A by Abigail Dean. I don't really care to remember this. I don't recommend it. It was okay. It was a book of the month book, and it was a thriller, and I didn't like it. Next is Highest Bidder by, I think it's Lauren Landish and Willow Winters. I would recommend it. This book, if you like spice, read it. Goal by Alexandria House. We're locked in. We are locked in. That book is literally amazing, and I need to finish the rest of it. The rest of the series. I think the series is called like the St. Louis series, I think. So good. Bride by Allie Hazelwood. Locked in. I personally did not think that I was going to like that book at all. I never read anything by Allie Hazelwood until I read that. So good. Where's Molly by H.D. Carlton. I feel like I'm gonna get a little bit of hate for this, but it took an L. It's not what I expected. It's not what I wanted, and I feel like it's because I wanted Sibby's story, and I was looking forward to Sibby, that this just didn't hit for me. And I know that she's not writing Sibby's story now, which I'm 100% okay with, because I want her to take her time with Sibby's story. I love Sibby so much. Like, she can literally write Sibby when I'm 60 years old, and I'm going to read it then. Like, it was just amazing. House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas. Obviously, that goes in Loved. If He Had Been With Me. Took a L. I don't recommend you read this. I read it because it was supposed to be a sad book. It was like, oh, it's gonna make you cry. Only the last part of it was sad, and I thought the whole book was gonna be sad, honestly. That One Night, I'd recommend. It was good. Night of the Witch, I would recommend. Good. I need to read the second one. Pucking Around, would recommend. That One Night is the sequel. It's not the sequel, the prequel to Pucking Around. It was very good. All of Lucy Foley's books are going to be in the Don't Care to Remember part, because they low-key sucked. Like, I don't know what people see in her books, but they're terrible. King of Elfhame is gonna go into would recommend. I love the Cruel Prince series, so yes. What is this? House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J Maas, obviously. Going in the Loved. Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. I'm gonna say took a L. I don't remember much of the plot. And I was so excited to read it. And I eventually gave it away to my friend, and me and him are going to read it, buddy read it again, because I feel like it could have been a 4 stars for me. But then I also feel like because I listened to the audiobook and I didn't immersive read it, that I didn't like it as much. Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey. We're gonna put her in Loved. I loved the main character in it. Like, her diabetes representation in the book was amazing. Like, she did such a good job with writing this book. The Perfect Couple. Loved it. I need to watch the show. I know there's a show out for it on Netflix, but this book is so good. If you read anything off of here, that's one of the books I would recommend. Like, literally amazing. I had a really good reading year this year, so please be aware of that, because Never Lie is going in Loved. Frida did her big one with that. I see why they call her Big Frida when I read this, because I didn't really care for the housemaid. A Summer Affair by Ellen Hildebrand. Hildebrand? Same lady that wrote The Perfect Couple. I'm so sorry. But it was good. It was good. I would recommend it. It's not as messy. It's still messy, but not as messy as The Perfect Couple. And it doesn't have like, I don't think it was much of a thriller. New Moon. Would recommend, obviously. Loved it. This one, I feel like I'm gonna get hate on for as well. Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. Took an L. I was expecting so much from this, and for it to not be good, like the characters' communication, and I wasn't vibing with it. And then I bought Just for the Summer by her, and I gave it away, because at this point I was just like, I don't care to read anything else. Pucking Wild is the second book to Pucking Around. It was good. We liked her. Love Interest by Claire Gilmore. We liked her. I would recommend. Britney Spears' book. Loved it. Loved her book down. It was so freaking good. But mind you guys, I don't really recommend. I don't really rate memoirs, but I did really enjoy her memoir. Honey and Spice, I would recommend. Such a good book. Drunk on Love. It was good. I'm not going to put it in took a L. But it wasn't what I was expecting it to be. Okay, my list is getting long now. Okay, then I have... Can I not? Okay, Blood Scion. I'm sorry guys, I had to I wish these stupid ads would go away. I'm so sorry, I don't know how to make them go away. I couldn't figure out like a paid version of this, so this is what we're stuck with. Blood Scion, I would recommend. It was actually a really good book. Don't care to remember this at all. It was not good. Don't recommend it. Don't waste your time reading it. Soulmate by Sally Hempworth. Wasn't good. Funny Story by Emily Henry. It's pretty good. The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. Good. I would recommend. Like, I think this is not the first book I read by her, because I read the first Shadow and Bone book. That was pretty good. And then I read this one, and I liked this one better. Don't care to remember. I don't even... Home is where... It's by Geneva Rose. Home is where something is. Home is where the bodies are. Home is where the bodies are by Geneva Rose was very much a letdown, and it was horrible. I don't recommend it. The Ritual The Ritual we're going to put in the loved category because it was amazing. Literally amazing. My Oxford Year, I'm gonna put in recommend. It was good, but it's not what I thought it was going to be. Wild Love by Elsie Silver, we love that. I can't believe that I liked it because I did not like Flawless by her. I thought it was absolutely horrible. I thought it was horrible, but it's also like maybe I just wasn't in the mood for that genre, so maybe one day I'll revisit it. But I do want to read the second one to this one. I think it's called Wild Eyes or something. Only for the Week by Natasha Bishop is going in locked in. I love that book so freaking much. Like, best book boyfriend ever. Game of Thrones is going in loved. I was not expecting to like Game of Thrones that much, but it was pretty good. The Wife by Frida McFadden, she took an L. She took an L with that one because it was absolutely horrible. I couldn't stand it. Terms and Conditions took an L as well. I thought I was gonna like it. It's like I did like it, but it wasn't what everybody was making it out to be. Like the hype was, it was overhyped. Lord of the Wilds, I don't want to put it in Don't Care to Remember because I do remember and I do like the story, but I feel like it did take L. It was a little bit of a letdown. Heartless Hunter, locked in. That's all you need to know. Locked in. Legacy of Ash by Matthew Ward. No, that's not him. I think his last name is Ward. Let me double check. Okay, Legacy of Ash by Matthew Ward was such a good book. I loved it. I highly recommend you guys look into the book. It does start off a little slow, but it is very political. So if you don't like that in your books, then don't read it. Game of Thrones, the second book, took L. That book was so boring and I freaking hate Sansa. Okay, Binding 13, the whole series, locked in. Locked in. Well, not the whole series. The first 4 books, locked in. Absolutely love them. I literally cannot wait for her to come out with more books. But Taming 7 is, we'll talk about that when we get there. Sea of Monsters by Percy Jackson, would recommend. Powerless took an L for me. Wasn't that good. Empire of the Damned, I loved that. Five Broken Blades, it took an L. It took an L. I need to reread it. I want to reread it because I just feel like I wasn't in the right mind space. Merit, Don't Care to Remember. The Deal, would recommend. I tried to read the second book and I just couldn't get into it. Keeping 13, of course it's going to go into locked in. Love that series so much. Divergent, Insurgent, and Allegiance, all going in loved. I absolutely loved that series. That's my first time reading this series, the Divergent series. Absolutely loved it. Immortal Dark, locked in. Locked in. It was so freaking good. Zodiac Academy, read that for the first time. Loved it. Sweet Nightmares. I don't know if I want to put it in locked in or in loved it. I'm going to put it in loved it. When she comes up with the second book, I'm going to read it. And if I like the second book as much, it's going to be put in locked in. Saving 6, locked in. Locked in. Like, Chloe Walsh did her thing with that. The Games Gods Play, we'll put it in loved. We'll put it in loved. I want the special edition of that one so freaking bad. Like, I need it today. Had Me at Hello, would recommend. It's such a good book, and it was very short. I thought it was gonna be longer. Phantasma took it out. She took it out with me. Maybe I need to reread it. I have the audiobook, so maybe one day when I'm at work, I'll put it on for like background noise just to see how I feel about it again, because I loved Caraval and what is it? Caraval and something else. I don't remember the other book that I said was like, but I loved Caraval. And that's what it was, something similar to Caraval. So I was like, oh, I'm going to love this book down. Didn't really care for it. Redeeming Six, obviously, is going and locked in. Quicksilver. I don't know if I want to put this in locked in or if I want to put this in loved. Because I really liked it. But I don't know if I'm locked in. I'm going to put it in loved. We're putting Quicksilver in loved. It's a great book. If you liked any of the Sarah J Maas series, Cruel Prince, if you just like Fae in general, you're going to love Quicksilver. Worded Man by Peter V. Brett. Loved it. Oh, where'd it go? Did it go into loved? Oh my gosh, where'd the book go? I literally just lost the book. Where did it go? Oh, why? Not me losing the book. I loved Worded Man by Peter V. Brett. I loved it. But I did hear that the series just goes downhill from there. I have the second book. I have not read the second book yet. I'm actually very afraid to read it because everyone said that the series goes downhill. Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan. Loved. That is the first. Why do my books keep disappearing? Oh, see. This is the first Kennedy Ryan book I read and I absolutely loved it. It was very traumatizing though. Very traumatizing. A Dark and Secret Magic. Don't care to remember. I literally remember nothing about this book, and it's really sad because it's one of my most recent reads. Like, I read that towards the end of the year. Carrie Maniscalco has my whole entire heart. I feel like she's my favorite author now. I want to try to read her Stalking Jack the Ripper series, but I tried to read it when I first got into reading and I didn't like it. And I'm very afraid to go into it now because I love Kingdom of the Wicked. That is literally my favorite series ever. Kingdom of the Wicked, hands down, is my favorite series ever. Which, of course, means Carrie Maniscalco is my favorite author ever. So, it's like if I read Stalking Jack the Ripper and I don't like it, I feel like that knocks her out of place for being my favorite author ever. Okay, last few books. Way of King by Brandon Sanderson. We loved it. I will be continuing on with the series. I kind of want to start the second book now, but I also want to read Sword of Kaigen. But I think I have the audiobook for this, so it's like I could just go ahead and start that whenever. But Sword of Kaigen, I really need to like lock in and read. And with school coming up, I just feel like I wouldn't have the time. Taming 7 is going in loved. I didn't like it as much as I liked the rest of the Boys of Tommen series. Like, I feel like Gibbsy needed more time to cope with his trauma, and I feel like he should have got a conversation with Darren. I feel like that would have been amazing. Master of Me by Keke Palmer. I loved it. I would recommend it. But I'm going to put it in took a L. I feel like she talked a lot about the stuff in the book in interviews. And I don't like that. If you're going to write a book, I feel like give us some juicy details. She gave nothing. So yeah, if you love Keke Palmer, go ahead and read it. But if you've seen like every interview she's been in, there's no need to read it. There Are No Saints took an L for me. I liked it. Don't get me wrong. If you want to read it, go ahead and read it. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. It's just not what I was expecting. Okay, so the first two books in the Mindfuck series, The Risk and Sidetracked, they're going in loved. I finished the series this month, and honestly, loved it. Pen Pal is going and took an L. I liked it. Once again, the same thing with Sophie Lark. I liked it, but it's not what I was expecting. And I had so many questions, like so many freaking questions after reading this. And I had to go to Fable and ask. And my questions were answered, but it's still like, I didn't like the ending of it. Wrapped Up in You, I would recommend. It was a cute little romance. One Way Ticket to Earth, I would recommend. It's literally a short storybook about a boy that dies. Great book. Good book. How My Neighbor Stole Christmas, would recommend. Once again, another cute little Christmas romance. Wishful Thinking, I loved it. I'm going to put it in loved. I just finished the second book. Maybe I should do a little review. If you want to see the review of Wishful Thinking, I have a review for it on my blog. It's called Murphy's Mental. You can go ahead and read it there. But I think I might do a video on the second book because I don't like the cousin Ursula, and that's who the second book was about. My Darling December, don't care to remember. I feel like I was supposed to read Love Redesigned first, and I didn't do that. Wreck the Halls by Tessa Bailey. Tessa Bailey is another author that I love, but honestly don't care to remember it. It did not give what it was supposed to give. Signs of a Slayer, I'm not going to say I loved the book. I feel like there was just something missing that stopped the book from being a 4 stars, so I give it about a 4.5. So I would recommend it, but I don't love it. My ranking for all the books, well, majority of the books that I read in 2024. I feel like I'm gonna have a great 2025 reading year as well, because I do know what I'm getting more, I'm understanding more of what I like to read. So with that, it's like, I feel like my reading year is just gonna be great. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and see you in the next one.